What's up, people? In Massachusetts, two white teenagers face charges in connection to trying to drown a black kid and taunting him. I'm Chibuzo Wachuku. I would appreciate you liking this video and subscribing to my channel. The incident happened in July at Goose Pond in Chatham, Massachusetts. The black kid, according to court documents, was invited by the two white teens, supposedly his friends. They rode their bikes to the place. The teens forced the kid to get into the water. They threw stones at him and called him the N-word, which they called him several times before. The child told them that he didn't know how to swim. After they forced him to get into the water, he put on a life jacket. The two then pulled him into the water. The 14-year-old pulled him into the water about 5 times. The black child said he couldn't breathe after the water got into him through his mouth and nose. The other teenager then laughed, calling the black child George Floyd in reference to the black man who died in the hands of police in 2020 in Minneapolis. One of the witnesses rescued the child. According to one of the other witnesses, the two teens took turns trying to drown the black child. I roll the clips now.
And Priscilla, this is a very detailed report. The victim stating what he says happened to him out here at Goose Pond in mid-July. The suspect in all of this, just 14 years old, and those out here today say they cannot believe something like this would happen here. In a remote area, a popular summer hotspot for those looking to cool off. But now, disturbing details just released about an incident that occurred here back in July. Court paperwork saying this started when the victim, who is black, told police he was invited to swim at this pond on July 19th. He added after he got here, the victim telling his friends, who are white, he didn't know how to swim, so he put on a life jacket. Investigators adding the suspect, identified in court paperwork as 14-year-old John Sheeran, started throwing rocks at him, calling him a racial slur, and threatened to beat him up. Sheeran's name is being released even though he's a juvenile because he's being charged as a youthful offender. Sheeran, according to the police report, later repeatedly dunking the victim in the pond and swam underneath him to try and pull him underwater. The victim adding he couldn't breathe, and another teen, quote, started laughing and called me George Floyd, obviously making fun of me and showing no remorse. It all eventually ended when the victim yelled for help and someone here on the beach swam out and stopped it. Sheeran, the 14-year-old suspect, was in court late last week and has stated he's being charged as a youthful offender, which means even though he is a juvenile, his court proceedings are public and he could potentially be facing an adult sentence. Those at Goose Pond this afternoon in disbelief.
Anything is possible in today's world that we live in, you know, but kind of hard to believe for here. If this kid is the bad egg that they say he is, good to have him off the street.
And at last check, the suspect here remains in juvenile custody after that hearing held late last week. Meanwhile, according to the DA's office, the next court hearing for the suspect is scheduled for September 13th. I'm in Chatham, Eli Rosenberg, NBC 10 Boston.
If you are not too young to commit a crime, then you are not too young to do time. It looks to me that those teens were never friends of the black kid. They are his enemies because of his skin color. If someone calls you a bad name on skin color, nationality, or whatever kind of group that you're a part of, that person is your enemy. Race is taught, not inherited. If parents or legal guardians teach their kids to hate on race or other protected group, they should be exposed and should lose their jobs or get out of business as if they own businesses. However, if they train their kids to get violent against people, to people that they hate, then such responsible adults should be criminally charged. They should be held responsible for their actions. The teens called the black child the N-word. He should have stopped associating with them. He should have told his parents that maybe he didn't know what the N-word meant. This is why I am all for parents supervising their kids wherever they are. Black people need to be very careful with whites that they associate with. I'm not saying that all whites are bad, not all of them are bad. And by the way, the good people and the bad people, they come from all races. However, black people, both minors and adults, need to be careful with whites that they associate with. They've got to watch out. I've already heard of at least one minor killed for trying to kill people. Those teenagers could have been killed because they were trying to drown that boy. That is terrible. That is evil. They didn't only call him the N-word or throw rocks at him. They tried to kill him. That is what they were planning to do. The witness that saved the black kid was able to intervene. He stopped the teens. Those teens, however, should get the same penalty as they would if they were adults. The teens should spend time behind bars for the rest of their lives. They knew what they were doing. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.